News site Politico is reporting that President Trump on Tuesday will announce he is ending the Daca program. That's a program that lets younger people who were undocumented immigrants stay in the country. But he's giving a 6-month window for Congress to act before the ending of the program is enforced. So I'll go over that again. I'm just going to make sure real quick you can hear me. We'll announce yes, you can hear me. Wonderful. So good evening to you all. Good evening to everybody, both on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm just going to get things organized here. So again, so the basic deal here, and we're gonna go over the details in a moment. We're gonna get your comments on this. I want to hear what you have to think. Oh, I forgot to tweet it out. I sometimes I forget things. So let me just get my Twitter up here to get organized. I thought I'd done everything, and I didn't. All right, there we go. Okay, so again, DACA is this program, Deferred Action for Childhood Referrals. That is a program that lets people who came here at a young age and they were undocumented, they're illegal immigrants, they call them illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants, whatever. They weren't allowed to be here. They came here at a young age. Maybe they were brought here by their parents. It's a program that President Obama put into place. I think it was 2012. I'll have to check on that. But President Obama put this program into place, and this program lets these younger people stay for 2 years at a time and keep get repeated approval so they can stay in the country. President Trump, according to Politico, is going to announce on Tuesday he is doing away with the DACA program. So I'll show you this article from Politico in a second. I'm not sure, does that mean no new DACA people, or the people here will have to leave? So, if there's a 21-year-old who has been on DACA for 6 years, or 5 years, will that person have to leave if President Trump's order to end DACA goes through and Congress doesn't do anything? Remember, President Trump is going to give, he says, according to Politico now, a 6-month window for Congress to do something. So Congress in that 6 months could change the law, and they could pass a law that says people that are brought here or come to this country that are undocumented, below a certain age, and say haven't committed a crime, can stay in the country. Now, will Congress do that? That's a whole other question. It's a very interesting issue. So we're going to talk about that too. So I'm going to show you the Politico article, but I want to just let you know that's the basic story, and we're going to talk about it in a little more detail here. If you guys have any comments while we're on the air, write to me on Twitter at @Lookner, @LOOKNER. And again, this is Right Side Broadcasting. I wonder if you got a notification about this. Yes, you did. There was a notification sent out. Thanks. I have a little update on the notifications issue, but I'm glad the notification got sent out. Okay, let's first talk about this Politico article. And as you can see, like the Drudge Report's reporting on this now, I'll show you. But everybody's linking to this Politico article. So the Drudge says, report, President ends DACA with 6-month delay. But if you click on it, you just get the Politico article. So let's read the Politico article. This article is written by Eliana Johnson. It was just put out, about an hour ago. And it says, Trump has decided to end DACA with 6-month delay. So it's not a long article. Let's just read through it, because this is all I can find on it right now. Well, there's a couple other details I'll share with you after. But let's read through this. Senior White House aides met Sunday afternoon to discuss how to roll out the controversial move affecting hundreds of thousands of Dreamers. And this is going to be a very big deal. And you're going to hear many people very angry about this on Tuesday. You're going to hear people happy about it, and you're also going to hear people very angry about it. You're going to hear a lot of polarized reactions on Tuesday. I think the reaction to this among people who are angry at it will be even more angry than people who were angry at when President Trump pulled out of the Paris Accords, and they were pretty angry then. Anyways, let's continue. President Trump, according to the article, has decided to end the Obama-era program that grants work permits to undocumented immigrants who arrived in the country as children, according to 2 sources familiar with his thinking. Senior White House aides huddled Sunday afternoon to discuss the rollout of a decision likely to ignite a political firestorm and fulfill one of the president's core campaign promises. Trump has wrestled for months with whether to do away with the Deferred Action for Childhood Referrals, childhood arrivals known as Daca. He has faced strong warnings from members of his own party not to scrap the program and struggled with his own misgivings about targeting minors for deportation. Conversations with Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who argued that Congress, rather than the executive branch, is responsible for writing immigration law, helped persuade the president to terminate the program, the two sources said. Though White House aides caution that, as with everything in the Trump White House, nothing is set in stone until an official announcement has been made. Important point there. In a nod to reservations held by many lawmakers, the White House plans to delay the enforcement of the president's decision for 6 months, giving Congress a window to act, according to one White House official. But a senior White House aide said that Chief of Staff John Kelly, who has been running the West Wing policy process on the issue, thinks Congress should have gotten its act together a lot longer ago. Trump is expected to announce his decision on Tuesday, and the White House informed House Speaker Paul Ryan of the president's decision on Sunday morning, according to a source close to the administration. Ryan had said during a radio interview on Friday that he didn't think the president should terminate Daca and that Congress should act on the issue. Neither the White House nor a spokesman for Ryan immediately responded to requests for comment. Only a couple more paragraphs here. The president's expected announcement is likely to shore up his base, which rallied behind the broader campaign message about the importance of enforcing the country's immigration laws and securing the border. At the same time, the president's decision is likely to be one of the most contentious of his early administration, opposed by leaders of both parties and by the political establishment more broadly. The White House and Congress have tried to pass the issue off on each other, with each arguing that the other is responsible for determining the fate of approximately 800,000 undocumented immigrants who are benefiting from Daca. Though most Republicans believe that rolling back Daca is a solid legal decision, they are conscious of the difficult emotional terrain. Utah Senator Orrin Hatch joined Paul Ryan in cautioning Trump against rolling back the program. The president is likely to couch his decision in legalese. Many on the right, even those who support protections for children brought into the country illegally through no fault of their own, argue that Daca is unconstitutional because former President Barack Obama carried it out unilaterally instead of working through Congress. Some Republican lawmakers, including Florida Senator Marco Rubio, have said that Congress needs to pass a law to protect the so-called dreamers. My hope is that as part of this process, we can work on a way to deal with this issue and solve it through legislation, which is the right way to do it and the constitutional way to do it, Rubio told CNN in June. Trump's expected decision to scrap Daca represents another challenge for Ryan and fellow congressional Republicans who are facing an end of September deadline to avert a government shutdown and government debt default, while also tackling a Hurricane Harvey relief package and a major tax reform push. So that is the article everybody is talking about. That is the article from Politico tonight saying that President Trump reportedly will end Daca on Tuesday, but he's going to give 6 months before it ends. And Congress will have a chance in those 6 months to act. Now, it's very interesting to me. I want to hear what you have to say about this. So write to me at Lookner. In a second, I want to take your comments on this and see what you think about it. So write to me on Twitter at Lookner and let me know what you're thinking. One thing though, one thought I had about this is, so, you might think, well, all the Democrats are going to vote for Daca, and all you need is some Republicans in Congress to vote for Daca, and then they can pass a Daca bill. Although I guess they have to overcome the filibuster. So you'd need 60 in the Senate to pass Daca. So you'd need I think it's 48 Democrats plus 12 Republicans. The problem is, so you might think, well, Congress will just pass a Daca bill and that'll be the end of it. The problem is, though, I'm guessing even moderate Republicans who might support a Daca bill might be worried, wait, if I vote for this, then my primary opponent next election is going to just campaign on me voting for Daca. I would think that in a Republican primary in a lot of areas, if the incumbent voted for this Daca bill, which might be proposed, that would be a major talking point for more conservative right-wing candidates trying to unseat the incumbent. So I'm not so sure Congress will pass a Daca bill. They could. Again, I'm guessing pretty much all the Democrats would vote for it. You need a fair amount of Republicans to cross the line. I guess you need about 12 in the Senate Now, some of them might not be up for a re-election, but all the House members are up for re-election every 2 years. So are there enough House members, 20-something, that would be willing to cross the line and vote for DACA? Because, as I said before, and maybe I'm wrong about this, I just feel like if a Republican votes for DACA and they're seen, and it's going to be like probably a pretty close vote, I would think, maybe I'm wrong, but if it's a close vote for DACA and a Republican votes for it, and then next year in the primary, the Republican opponent can say, hey, that's the guy or woman who was responsible for DACA passing. Are you going to vote for them in this Republican primary? A lot of Republican voters, especially the more conservative ones, who tend to vote more in the primaries, might just say, I don't want to vote for that person. They voted for DACA. So I don't know what'll happen. Again, I'm just saying it's not clear to me that it's like this slam dunk that a DACA bill will pass a Republican-controlled Congress. I don't know. We'll see. And another important point for this article, remember, this announcement has not happened yet. President Trump, even if this article is accurate, President Trump could still change his mind before Tuesday. So let that be put out there. We're not reporting that President Trump has signed something already. We're reporting this article is out there by Politico, which is a very respectable organization, and people like Drudge are linking to it. But at the same time, until the announcement on Tuesday, we don't know for sure. But we're just saying that reportedly this is going to happen on Tuesday. So I would love to get your thoughts on this. And what do you think about this turn of events that President Trump will announce on Tuesday, reportedly, that he's ending DACA with this 6 months delay? What do you think? Write to me on Twitter, @Lookner, @LOOKNER. And before I get to your comments, somebody made a donation before, and I went right by, and I was busy talking, and I missed it. Maybe Webster messaged me about it. But Webster might be not around. Hey, if anyone knows who made that donation, let me know. We appreciate the donation because the donations keep us on the air. We couldn't be on the air without your donations. We're viewer supported. So if you like our coverage, you want to keep us on the air and see us cover more news, what you can do is go in the YouTube chat room right next to the broadcast and just click on the $sign at the bottom of the chat room. Or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. And, I'm kind of interested. I was wondering, this is really big news to me. Is the mainstream media covering this? No, CNN is not covering it live. Of course not. Fox, I bet, is, let's see here. No, Fox isn't covering it live. No one's covering, are we the only ones? Well, among, aside from the mainstream media. So once again, we have a big story. Sunday night, the news networks don't like to actually go live, but we're covering it live. We think it's an important story, so we're covering it live. So once again, this happens. Anyways, so if you like that kind of coverage and you like that we'll go live on a Sunday night, even though these news networks with hundreds of millions of dollars won't, please consider making a donation. And don't forget, subscribe to us on Right Side Broadcasting so you know when we come on the air with live news like this, and click the notifications bell when you subscribe. That way you'll get a notification. And anyways, all right, let's get to your comments here. JC writes in, thank you to JC and all the moderators tonight for working again in the chat room. And I have to remind, we gotta get this on the website. Sorry, I'm just texting Joe, the boss of Right Side, because I forgot to put it on the website. So for now, the chat's here. There'll also be a chat on the website, but we always appreciate the hard work the moderators do. Okay. Oh, and Paul Spalding just made a $10 donation and said you're doing a hell of a job. Thank you. Thank you so much, Paul. And thank you to whoever donated at the beginning of the broadcast, and I missed it. So I hope somebody messages me and tells me who that was. All right, JC said, Lars Anderson. Jude just told me Lars Anderson made the donation. Thank you, Jude. Thank you, Lars. Okay, JC says, LOL, Steve, let's see how fast Congress works on this. I love how the President Trump put a deadline of 6 months on this. It's about time Congress starts acting like Congress. Maybe this is a wake-up call to Congress. Stay true to your word, Mr. President. End DACA, period. Now, according to the article, by the way, what President Trump might say, and this is something that Jeff Sessions, I feel, believes. Jeff Sessions is really big on enforce the laws that are there. If it's not in the law, don't enforce it. If it's in there, enforce it. And I think, that's a different point. Somebody could be for DACA but But we don't think President Obama's DACA executive order was constitutional, because DACA should be made, immigration policy should be made by Congress. I need to go through some reading on like what the Constitution says about that and stuff. But the point is, it's not necessarily, if President Trump says let's end DACA, one reason you might want to do this because you don't like DACA, but another reason you might want to do that is you might like DACA or be neutral on DACA, but think, look, this is really a matter of Congress, and we shouldn't have the president running around making decisions on things that it's really Congress's constitutional responsibility to decide. So, according to this article, President Trump might make that kind of argument on Tuesday. Okay, let's go to more of your messages. Noreen Sanderson says, question, why is there a headline out that Trump is going to end DACA when he isn't going to tell us until Tuesday? Leak? Well, this article says two sources familiar with his thinking. According to two sources familiar with his thinking. That suggests that the author, Alina Johnson, talked to two people close to Trump. Now, a question here is this leaked? So this was a leak of some sort. Was it leaked intentionally or not? I could see a world in which the White House decides, hey, let's put this out there a couple days early, so it's not like a big, maybe a couple reasons. First, they could be putting it out there as like a trial balloon to see what the reaction is, or they could be putting it out there to kind of, because they anticipate if they announce it Tuesday, it'll be as like a surprise to everybody. There'll be a lot of anger out there, whereas maybe if they announce it now, the anger is maybe dissipated a bit by Tuesday. So there's many reasons why they could intentionally leak it, but at the same time, there are reasons someone might unintentionally leak it. Maybe there's somebody in the White House who doesn't agree with this and wants to put it out there in the hopes that it'll get out early, people will get angry, and President Trump will be forced to change his mind. I'm not saying that'll happen. I'm just saying, so this looks like two people leaked it. I can't tell if it's intentional or unintentional leaks. Maybe one was intentional and one was unintentional for all I know. And I don't know, so it's just so hard to say where these leaks come from and why they're there and why they were done. But they were done. I mean, two sources, it says in the article. But a good question, Noreen. Write to me. Let me know what you're thinking on this. At Lookner, at Lookner. Yassine Qasem says, great decision by the President of the United States people to prevail and keep people safe. So that's according to Yassine Qasem. Let me read some more of your comments. Candy Jersey Girl says, prepare yourselves, folks. The left riot mongers will be out in full force. I wonder if there will be, that's an interesting point, Candy Jersey Girl. Will there be protests about this? Like Antifa or left groups. Will there be protests about this on Tuesday? This news is just breaking now. It's so funny to be mainstream media isn't covering this. I have to tweet out about that eventually. I'll do it after the broadcast. But it's such an important story, and just like the mainstream media is too busy showing their documentaries on Sundays to report on it. But when they find out, I think there will be a lot of anger about this. Also, there are 800,000 undocumented immigrants, some of whom who are benefiting from DACA, some of whom have been here for a while. I'm guessing in that community, there'll probably be a lot of fear because people might not know if they're going to get deported or not. That's just the honest truth. Vedic Castro just gave $5 and said, you do a great job, Steve. Thank you, Vedic Castro. Thank you for your donation. Your donations allow us to do the job we do here and bring you the news. So we really appreciate the donations. By the way, you can follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. And you can follow me on Twitter at Lookner. I send out breaking news stuff a lot. And if you like breaking news, I post a lot of breaking news stuff. Also, follow us on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting. And if you're watching on Facebook, we would love it if you shared this video, because that lets other people know about Right Side. We're small. We don't have lots of money to spend on advertising. So you sharing the video really helps us. And it also helps us on YouTube if you like the video, because a lot of people don't know this, and I didn't really know it until recently. When a video gets more likes on YouTube suggests it to more people. So, because they want to suggest videos that they think are popular. So if you like the video, please click like on YouTube, because that lets YouTube know that you like the video. And they'll let other people know about it. Jeff Berry writes, interesting Politico is breaking this. GOP establishment uses them to scoop President Trump to gin up opposition before the fact. So you think, Jeff, it sounds like you think this leak was somebody who wanted to leak this because they didn't approve of this reported action by President Trump, and they're trying to get opposition built up before the announcement. Don't know? Reagan Better says there are major legal challenges to DACA. I can see Black Lives Matter massive protest Tuesday. I could see protests at the White House Tuesday. By the way, we just got a donation of $20 from Project 5493 and says that person, he or she says, thank you so much for everything you do and keep up the good work. Thank you, Project 5493. That's very kind of you. And we love to get donations because we love to stay on the air. That we want to keep bringing you the news. That's what we do with the donations. So thank you. So I really think, and I will say this. So while the mainstream media is sleeping in their beds and showing documentaries, at some point they'll start reporting on this. It'll be a huge story tomorrow, if not tonight, because they're just so asleep. It'll be a huge story at like 6 a.m. on their morning news when they actually start going live. But because this advance notice is out, I do think you might actually see people organizing protests on Tuesday in different places about this. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I think a lot of people, there are a lot of people out there who don't like the president, and a lot of people who are kind of open to protesting. So this is really a big issue for a lot of those people. And also, let me just say, the protest doesn't have to be all Antifa people. I think there will be protests of people who genuinely like DACA and just don't want President Trump to get rid of DACA. And look, there will also be plenty of people who will like this move, but I don't think they're going to go out and protest because they like the move. So I'm just talking about the protest. Old Guy 1947 says, here in California, Dreamers receive preferential treatment compared to USA citizens. Free healthcare, education, and scholarships. I guess that means, Old Guy 1947, you would be okay with this move of President Trump's. Nancy Sutherland says, I would be shocked if Congress passed anything bipartisan with all the obstruction the Democrats have done since President Trump's election. Nikki says, what a surprise. No empathy coming from a GOP voter, just some BS beliefs about law and order. Is that from this story? Let's see. Yeah, it is this story. But I think she might have been commenting to somebody else in a Twitter thread here. Yeah, that she's commenting to somebody who commented on my tweet about this. Okay. Parker Bono says President Trump should have compromised for wall funding since Congress wants DACA so much. I hope that's Trump's goal. You're thinking this could be some part of some negotiation, it sounds like, Parker Bono. Interesting. Russian Bot says DACA will be the one and only thing Congress will pass just to spite President Trump. Love This Nation says he will not end DACA. I heard he's delaying enforcement to let Congress pass a law, basically a bailout. Well, we've been reporting that the story does say that. I love this nation. I love this nation. But also, at the same time, as I said before, I'm not so sure it's such a slam dunk Congress will pass a DACA law. You never know. Velvet Montgomery writes, well, it would be amazing if Congress will be at work and not on vacation. Beverly Way says, law and order, amen. Monty Allen says DACA was ruled unconstitutional by the Fifth Court of Appeals. Congress has to pass immigration reform. I need to go do some reading about DACA. I don't know about court rulings or anything like that in relation to it. I mean, it's being enforced right now, so it hasn't been overturned. So we're here covering this story that, according to Politico, President Trump has decided to end the DACA program on Tuesday, but he's going to give 6 months before doing so to give Congress a window to pass a DACA bill if they want. DACA, again, is this it's not a law, it's a regulation, I guess you would call it, a policy put into place by, because the law has to get passed by Congress. This was put into place by the Obama administration, and it lets young people who were young when they came to this country illegally stay in the country for renewable 2-year periods. And let's see. So, sorry, that was just a text from Joe. So let's get. I want to show you some of the. before we get to your comments, I want to hear more of your comments. Write to me at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. But at the same time, I want to check give you some background on the actual DACA regulation, what it says. So I'm on trusty Wikipedia here, and it says eligibility. It was, first of all, let me just let you know this. Barack Obama announced the policy in June 15th, 2012, and it says to be eligible, illegal immigrants must have entered the United States before their 16th birthday and prior to June 2007, and currently be in school, a high school graduate, or honorably discharged from the military, be under the age of 31 as of June 15th, 2012, and to not have been convicted of a felony, significant misdemeanor, or 3 other misdemeanors, or otherwise pose a threat to national security. The program does not provide a lawful status or path to citizenship, nor does it provide eligibility for federal welfare or student aid. Let's see. And it also says, came to the U.S. before their 16th birthday, have lived continuously in the United States since June 15, 2007, were under age 31, blah, 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 have high school. So roughly speaking, we're talking about people who came before their 16th birthday. They had to have come before June 2007. I don't know if I realized that. I don't know if I realized that this only applies to people who came before 2007. Which I'm guessing means that, in November 2004, President Obama announced changes which were expanded to include illegal immigrants who entered the country prior to 2010, and then eliminate the requirement that applicants be younger than 31-year-old, and lengthen the renewable deferrable period to 2 years. However, in 2014, Texas and 25 other states sued in the district court. An equally divided Supreme Court left the injunction in place without setting any precedent. Oh, I see. So in February 2015, a district court blocked President Obama's expansion of DACA, but it didn't set any precedent, and it doesn't affect the existing DACA. Okay, so right now, it appears, if this is correct, that DACA only applies to people who came here before 2007 and were under 16. Is that what it is? Under 16 when they came here? This is good clarification. Let's see. Came to the United States before their 16th birthday and have lived here since 2007, June 15th, continuously. Right? And haven't committed a crime, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's some of the background there, which I probably at one point read about it years ago, but I had no memory of that now. So that's helpful. So, anyways, that's clarification on the DACA policy. But President Trump says he's going to end this Tuesday. Now, I guess that clarifies some things for me. Since DACA right now only applies to people who came before 2007. Okay, this is making more sense. It would seem that ending DACA would involve making those people get out of the country, or at least not allowing them to have a permit to stay in the country. Because the only people in the country DACA is helping right now stay in the country are people who came here before 2007 or before. Now, I guess, though, if you want to get legalistically here, DACA is still in effect, but it's anyways. So it seems to me that if he announces an end to DACA, he's basically saying all those people in the country on DACA who were young people who were young when they came here 2007 or before are no longer allowed to be here anymore. Now, if that happened, then there's this whole issue of let's play this forward. Let's say President Trump ends DACA and Congress doesn't pass a law in the 6 months. So DACA is over. Then there's this question of what is the enforcement of this like? Does the federal government start sending immigration officers to go track down people here on DACA? That could happen. Or they could enforce it lightly. They could say, well, we've ended DACA. There's plenty of people who aren't allowed to be here, but we're not going to go knock on their doors and bash down their doors or whatever. Just if they commit a crime and we find out they're here, they're out. So there's this whole other interesting issue and an important issue, which is if President Trump announces this policy change that he's ending DACA on Tuesday and Congress doesn't pass a DACA law, so DACA is over, what is the enforcement like now for people who are here illegally who were under DACA? And those people, by the way, will probably have some time left in their 2-year DACA, their 2-year DACA permits to be here. So that's a whole other thing which could actually become really important. Anyways. And then anyway, it's a whole thing. But I want to get to your comments. This is Right Side Broadcasting. Thank you for sticking with me as I went through the whole policy and realized what it actually said. But I thought that was informative, going to Wikipedia and looking at all that stuff. So this is Right Side Broadcasting. We are covering this breaking news story. Politico has announced that President Trump will end DACA on Tuesday, but he's giving Congress 6 months to pass a DACA law if they want. So they can pass a DACA law and then DACA will be around again. And I wonder, look, here's another possibility. Right now, DACA doesn't apply, as far as I'm aware, according to that Wikipedia article, to new people coming in the country, as new young people coming in the country. Could Congress pass a DACA law, which is more expansive than the current DACA, where Congress might pass a law that applies to new young people coming into the country? I don't know if that'll happen. I'm just saying you might if Congress passes a law, you might end up with a more expansive DACA program than exists even now. But I don't know if they'll pass one. And if they do, I don't know what it'll say. Anyway, let's hear from you. So this is Right Side Broadcasting. If you like our coverage, we are viewer supported. So please consider donating, because your donations keep us on the air. You can donate either by going to the YouTube chat room right next to the broadcast and clicking on the $ at the bottom of the chat room. Or you could you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. And one of the options, if you go to rsbn.tv/donate, is a page, our Patreon page, where you can get free stuff like this mug, Right Side mug, and other free stuff from Right Side in exchange for making a monthly donation. So you can read about that at rsbn.tv/donate. And please write to me. I want to hear what you have to say about this this story. About what do you think about. Let's assume that President Trump is going to announce this on Tuesday. What do you think about that? Write to me at @Lookner on Twitter. Let me know your thoughts. And feel free to follow me there as well. Right Side Broadcasting is at RSB Network. And don't forget, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you get notified whenever we come on the air and do a live breaking news video like this. It could be on a Sunday night when the mainstream media is asleep and showing documentaries on all the news channels, but we're covering it live. Okay. Let me get back here and read some more of your messages. Samantha Reed says, so this is a question about somebody said they're banned on the RSBN chat. We don't control the chat. The moderators control the chat. They're in charge there. So I can give you an email address. If you have an issue with the chat, you can write to moderator@rsbn.tv. That is the person to contact about the chat the nuts and bolts of the chat, because that's a moderator thing. We know it's there, and we're so thankful they do it, but they're in control of the chat. So that's the person to talk to. And then after you talk to them, if you want to message us, you can message us, but talk to them first. Talk to moderator@rsbn.tv. Trump Sword gave $5 and said, thank you, RSBN. So thank you, Trump Sword, for making that donation. We really appreciate it. Nicholas says, Steve, we don't know what will happen after Trump ends DACA on Tuesday. We will have to wait and see. Been watching you since November. Thank you for watching, Nicholas, and thank you for writing in with all your comments frequently. Ronald says, thank you, Steve, for actually reading the information. Yeah, if we don't know something here, if I don't know something, I'll read it. I don't know everything. There's a lot I forget all the time. I wish I had one of these photographic memories. I don't. So we will actually go to Wikipedia and read you the policy. It can be a little boring, maybe, but I think it's interesting. But, we think it's important to get the details right. Miss Skeptic writes in, we love the dreamers, Trump said just last Friday. Even Hatch opposes ending DACA. This is political suicide for Trump. Interesting thought. I mean, how much would this affect Trump? If he announces this, it's a good question. Old guy 1947 says, yes, roll back DACA. Send all dreamers back to their home country. Then let them apply to enter the U.S. legally. DACA is magnet. That's from old guy 1947. And let me say something real quickly, just to clarify. Once in a while I get questions about somebody saying I'm having an issue of some sort with the chat. And again, the moderators control the chat, not us. So the first thing you should do if you have an issue with the chat is write to moderator@rsbn.tv. But at the same time, if you talk to them and you're still not happy, you're welcome to write to us. We don't mind you writing to us about that. We just want you to go to them first because they're really in control. And we trust them. They've done an amazing job running the chat the whole time we've been on the air. So we trust them. But at the same time, if you talk to them, you try to reach an agreement. If you can't reach an agreement, feel free to reach out to us then and explain what's going on. But they do an amazing job. Central Florida for Trump writes, think about the GOP primary bloodbath if Congress gets a DACA bill done and not healthcare/taxes. Also, Russia security bill was bipartisan. The Russian sanctions bill was bipartisan. So Central Florida for Trump, I was saying something similar. I think, some people out there might think, oh, Congress is going to pass a DACA bill, but Congress can't pass a DACA bill without some Republicans voting for it. And I think Republicans who vote for a DACA bill, that could be threatening to them in their primary, given where they're running. But you have to imagine for a lot of Republicans, that's would be a strong talking point against them in a Republican primary. Stephanie Messenger says, I love how President Trump is pushing it on Congress, knowing that they cannot pass anything. Great strategy. I think this is a very insightful comment, Stephanie, because it's an interesting thing. If you want to get really cynical, you could say something like this. You could say, look, President Trump doesn't like DACA, but this way Congress gets blamed if there's no DACA because he didn't cancel it. He said, Congress, it's up to you. Now, I'm not saying that's the real story here, but at the same time, by doing this, as Stephanie, you point out, President Trump makes Congress, ultimately, if 6 months from now, Congress doesn't approve a DACA bill, people won't be able to just point at President Trump. They'll be able to point at Congress too. So President Trump does kind of insulate himself a little bit. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will just say this is all President Trump's fault. But at the same time, I bet some Republicans in Congress are infuriated at this because they would rather him keep it or just do away with it. But now Republicans in Congress are like, oh, great. Now you're putting the blame on me, like, either if we pass DACA or we don't pass DACA. I get, some Republicans in Congress might think, well, now if I pass a DACA bill, my Republican constituents, a lot of them won't like me. And if I don't pass a DACA bill, I'll lose the election because all the Democrats in my district won't vote against me. Although that wouldn't really hold if the person's in a very Republican district because they wouldn't really care about the Democrats as much. But anyways, interesting to think about. We are covering live this story. That Politico is reporting that President Trump will announce on Tuesday. See, it's Politico. Look, Politico. He will announce on Tuesday that he is going to end DACA with a 6-month delay to let Congress to let Congress have the chance to pass their own DACA bill. DACA allows people who came to this country before 2017, before 2007. When they were under 16 and haven't committed a crime, blah, blah, blah. But basically, let's people who came before 2007, who were under 16 to this country illegally, stay in the country for renewable 2-year periods. And President Trump reportedly will announce he's ending this on Tuesday. And if Congress doesn't pass anything in 6 months, that means those 800,000 or so people who are here illegally now, and they're not allowed to be here. And then the question becomes, do they start getting deported, or what happens then? That's a whole other huge thing. So we are taking your comments. We're taking your questions. Whatever you think about it, we want to read it on the air as long as it's clean. Write to me at @Lookner on Twitter, @Lookner. Don't forget, subscribe to us at Right Side Broadcasting and click the notifications bell so you get notified whenever we go on the air with a news video like this. I'm interested in seeing are none of the news channels still covering this? CNN is showing the 90s. Are they still showing the 90s? I think they are. Anyways, maybe they switched. I won't linger on this too long. It's all in commercials. No, Fox isn't showing it. It just baffles me. I'm stunned. Well, I'm stunned and I'm not stunned. Okay, let's get back to this. So, and also, in addition to subscribing to us on YouTube, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at RSB Network. And please share this video on Facebook and like it on YouTube. When you like it, YouTube says, oh, maybe we should show this to other people. So by liking this video on YouTube and sharing it on Facebook, you really help spread the word about Right Side. And thank you everybody who's donated so far. Your donations keep us on the air. So if you'd like to donate, we're viewer supported. Go to the YouTube chat, click on the $sign at the bottom of the chat room, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Yeah, so it was already going to be a busy week, but now it's going to be even busier. Congress has so much to do. They got to work on the budget. That's got to get done by the end of the month or the government shuts down. They got to raise the debt ceiling. Now there's the Daca thing. They have to pass a bill to help Houston, or I guess Texas generally, a hurricane relief bill. There might be another hurricane in a week. Irma is steaming towards the Caribbean right now, a very strong hurricane at this moment. So a lot going on right now. Solomon's Temple says, postpone and build political capital by showing Comey and Obama corruption with emails and unmasking. Once GOP has to back them, then tackle DACA. Must be careful that policy does not promote kids to make the dangerous journey to get here. We are in debt up to eyelids, so a solution must not cost tax dollars. Our grandkids' debt load matters too. So it sounds to me, Solomon's Temple, you're a little concerned that you think Congress will pass a DACA bill and you don't necessarily want them to do that. Deplorable Kathy says, people, please stop saying Trump will commit political suicide over the DACA decision. Have patience and see what will happen. People jump too quickly to conclusions. Black and Proud writes, any GOPer that votes for DACA will be committing political suicide. Nothing drives voters to the midterm polls more than immigration. Just ask Eric Cantor. Not Cantor. Just ask Eric Cantor. I think it's Cantor. Trump is setting up rhinos for 2018 to be primaried. So smart. Sean Vonder says, hey, Steve, just invited all my Twitter and Facebook friends to join us in tonight's program. Keep up the great work, brother. Thank you, Sean. We appreciate it. Hope some of them came. If any of Sean's friends are out there, hello, welcome. Karen Berry says, to really keep his promise, Trump can still veto any bill Congress passes, correct? This is interesting. Now, I think, Karen, technically speaking, he can veto bills from Congress. However, to me, if the president is giving Congress a 6-month window to pass a DACA bill, that suggests he's not going to veto a DACA bill. It would be this real... It would take some real you-know-what for President Trump to say, hey, Congress, you have 6 months to pass a DACA bill, and then veto a DACA bill they passed. So I would be surprised, unless the DACA bill was incredibly expansive, like it said, everybody who's ever come into the country under the age of 25 and in the future can be a citizen, like something like that, he wouldn't sign. But if it's something close to the existing policy, to me, the story suggests that giving the 6-month window suggests that he would sign it. But a good question. Andrew Sova says, allowing dreamers to keep dreaming temporarily is all right with me. It's not their fault. Their families broke the law. Yeah, and some people definitely feel like Andrew, where they feel like, look, these people, they didn't come here. They were children when they come here. If they were really young, they had no choice. And for a lot of them, were probably brought here by family members or their parents or whatever. So some people think, hey, they're children. How can you blame them? Just let them stay. And so there's definitely arguments I see on both sides of this issue. It's not like one side has an argument and one side doesn't. Both sides have arguments here, and but people have a lot of strong feelings on both sides of this. Ace Solo says, if he does not end DACA or start building the wall, I'm afraid base might start dissolving. Maybe they think that too, Ace Solo. You know what's interesting? We had, what happened right after Bannon left? Steve Bannon left, and then something happened right after that I felt like Bannon would have liked. What was that? I can't remember. What did President Trump sign or announce? Does anyone in the chat room remember this? It was like 2 days after Steve Bannon left. Maybe somebody will remember. I'll keep my eye on the chat for a second. The chat always answers these questions. They're very good on this. But it was something that was announced, and it was like, I was saying like, well, that obviously was something Bannon would like. Let's see. I need to take a few more seconds because the chat's on a little bit of a delay here. So I need to see what the chat is going to say in answer to my question. Let's see. Oh, well, Gorka left. That wasn't it. That Gorka leaving was not it. Gorka leaving was not it. Oh, he got rid of someone. No, that's not what it was. I can't even remember. Well, if somebody knows, maybe message me. The chat hasn't answered me yet. VA, no, it wasn't the VA thing. Was it maybe it was the speech about, maybe it was the speech he gave, the last speech he gave about Charlottesville, where he blamed both sides and he called out Antifa. That might have been it. That might have been where I saw that. And then I said like, oh, well, people thought things were going to change when Bannon left. So here's another thing where it's like, Bannon leaves. Just because Steve Bannon leaves, and somebody in the chat was saying they still talk, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But, it doesn't mean he's not going to take positions that Bannon might have supported. Okay, let's read some more of your comments. Oh, the transgender ban, somebody said, in the military. Did that come after? I don't know. I can't even remember now. Anyways, thank you for answering my question. Let's see. Fit to be Tied says, actually, I think this is a fantastic way to handle Daca. Trump's base is happy because Daca will be gone. Fit to be Tied, it's a little long message, so I'm not going to read all of it, but I'll just get the basic idea here. Well, I'll keep reading Fit to be Tied. If Congress can come together and pass something, the poor dreamer children will have a chance to stay. Nothing happens right now, so those poor children, yes, a tiny bit of sarcasm there, are not abruptly uprooted. It gives their parents time to figure out what to do and where to go. Honestly, I think it is the best way Trump could handle it. Let Congress do their job if they want to fix our immigration system. This has been a problem since the 70s. I know. I know Reagan amnestied a bunch of illegal aliens, and in return, Congress was supposed to fix the immigration system. Of course, it did not happen. The immigration system is a mess and needs to be fixed. This might light a fire under Congress's rear ends to actually do their job and stop blathering about it. That is from Fit to be Tied. Thanks for writing in. M. Beaver Stump writes in, if Congress puts forth legislation to legalize Daca, in my opinion, Trump needs to use the veto threat to obtain concessions regarding the wall and possibly ending birthright citizenship. So you're also you're thinking that President Trump could threaten a veto on a Daca bill. And maybe he could, again, the problem with him threatening a veto is it's a little bit funky to me if President Trump says, I'm giving you a 6-month window, Congress, and then he starts threatening a veto. Now, maybe he does it quietly. Maybe he says, hey, Congress, just so you know, I can still veto you. So, maybe do give me this or this or this if you don't want to get it vetoed. Could do it quietly. So it's an interesting point, M. Beaver Stump. A couple of other people were talking about maybe this is some sort of bargaining chip he can use. More messages from you. Lily Hager says, thanks for keeping us updated on all the real news. Mainstream media bias has been a complete letdown to someone like me who has always been a news junkie. With that said, I'm glad I live on the West Coast when you go late night, LOL. Thank you, Lily. We appreciate it. We try to be agenda free here. There's so much agenda in the media. We just try to be agenda free. That's all we try to be. Storm Spotter in EMS says, I think this should have already been done and the wall should have already been built. So we are covering this story that President Trump has decided to end Daca with a 6-month delay to allow Congress to pass a Daca bill if they want. This is being reported by Politico, and they're reporting that President Trump will announce this on Tuesday. We are here getting your comments on this story. If you'd like, write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. And what else? What else was I going to say? Oh, I forgot to check my email. I'll just make sure none of you emailed me. So write to me on Twitter if you want to say I have a comment about the story and have it read on the air. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter at Lookner if you like breaking news, because I post breaking news stuff all the time. And Right Side Broadcasting. Follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. And don't forget, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you get updated with all of our videos. Like when we come on now, you get a notification about it. By the way, we were having an issue with our notifications. We found out YouTube has a new policy now where they limit the number of notifications that any channel can send out about live streams within like a 24-hour period. I didn't know about this policy. And so if there's a day with a lot of news and we go live a bunch, like there was yesterday, they'll limit the notifications. Now, I kind of feel like when somebody signs up for YouTube or Instagram and they follow somebody or they subscribe to somebody, just let them see everything that person puts out. But a lot of these companies are going against that nowadays. So Instagram has this thing now where I don't even like use Instagram anymore because are we black screen now? Amazing. I think we're black, so we're gonna come back. So let me just see if we come back. Sorry folks, there's a black screen. I'm gonna keep talking until it comes back. I'm just typing in here. This is YouTube's fault. Sorry. I was saying where we will be back as soon as black screen disappears. I'm telling Joe, we've been talking to YouTube about this. Yeah, Joe, I'll call you after about this, but this has been happening the last several days. We've been in contact with YouTube about it, where suddenly in the middle of our video, it goes black for 30 seconds. That's been happening. A lot of you know this. We've written to them. We're waiting to hear about it. We don't know what's happening. If the screen goes black like this and you're watching one of our broadcasts, just hold on. It's not our fault. It's a weird YouTube thing. It'll come back in a minute. So just know in the future, if you're watching us and you see that black screen, it's not us. So anyways, I was talking about how Instagram did a thing where they did this thing where you can no longer follow people. Instagram is a place where you post pictures and write comments on it. And it used to be that you can follow people, and if I follow, if I follow Joe Smith, I see every photo Joe Smith posts on Instagram. But Instagram changed it a few months ago, and now Instagram only gives me some of what the people I follow post. They don't let me choose what I want to see anymore, and I don't like that. I think that you should be able to choose what you want to see. So I don't like when any company has a thing when they control what you see. If I follow somebody or subscribe to somebody on any site, just give me what they're putting out. And if I don't like it, I'll just unfollow them or unsubscribe. So that's my thought on this. But anyways, that's their policy now. I didn't make the policy. But this black screen thing is a real problem, and I don't know why it's happening. And we've asked them repeatedly about it, and we haven't got an answer yet. So we'll keep asking them about it. I just don't understand it, and it's really frustrating that happens with no explanation, by the way. Anyways, I believe somebody said. But this black screen thing is. Somebody said check my audio. What is wrong with the audio? Let's see. The audio should be fine. I don't know why it's like this. Let me see. That happens with no. So by the way, there seems to be a little bit of an audio issue, but I'm not sure. It seems to be like a little bit of an echo, but I'm not sure why that is because I didn't change anything here. So. There might have been something with the black screen. I don't know. But you can hear me all right, I think. Let's see. The audio should be... I don't know why it's like that. I'll have to check after, guys. I'm sorry. It should be fine. I'm looking. Everything's set up correctly. People are saying audio is okay. All right. So anyways, let's get back to the broadcast, hopefully without any more interruptions. But just so you know, if you see the black screen, it's not our fault. We're not doing anything. It's happening on YouTube the last few days. I have no idea why. The old guy just gave $25, old guy 1947. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Somebody else made a donation too, I think. Sadomasochist gave $5 and said, days after Bannon leaving, Trump revealed his Afghanistan plan. Days after Bannon leaving, Trump revealed his Sorry, there's so much going on here. I'm sorry. Yes, but that wasn't sadomasochist, the thing, Chris, the thing I was thinking about. But thank you. But thank you for the donation. Sorry, folks. It's been really frustrating the last couple of days with these notification issues and the black screen. And at least we got an explanation finally about the notification issue, but we still haven't got an explanation about the black screen. So I'm sorry. And then it interrupts the broadcast and it interrupts it for all you guys. So we apologize again. It's not our fault. So, anyways, I want to read some more messages from you guys. Webster says audio and everything is okay. Thank you. Andrew Sova says YouTube doesn't want us to know their policy. I think they published it somewhere. They sent us some announcement or something, or an actual policy. Deplorable Kathy says, so YouTube is now the Gestapo. Sure seems like it. Look, I'm not saying that was intentional. I have no evidence that the black screens are intentional. For all I know, the simplest explanation is that they're just some kind of accident that's happening. I would just like them to stop so we don't get interrupted in the middle of our broadcast with black screens constantly. That's all I'm saying. And as I've said before, YouTube has been very good to us at Right Side Broadcasting. They've been great to us. So I have no problem with YouTube, and they've been very good to us. I just, they seem to be having some technical issue with those black screens, and I wish it would stop. Mrs. Skeptic says, this Daca policy, which is up here, will be seen as a needlessly cruel move. There will be massive protests. Trump's approval numbers look out below. That's what Mrs. Skeptic says. Miss Skeptic. Blake Shelton, 1993, says, does Right Side plan on adding more anchors in the future? Love seeing you, just curious. At the moment, we keep things small because we are a small company and we don't have lots of money. That's a big reason. So for now, small. Everything's small. We're not in the business of expanding right now. We're in the business of staying on the air so we can bring you more news coverage. But your suggestion has been noted. Michael says, 6-month delay is indicative of real Donald Trump becoming a politician. Not a bad thing. Hashtag Daca. Miss Skeptic says, Trump's base may like this, but remember with his current approval numbers, his base alone will never get him reelected. When was this published? Oh, so Jeff Berry just showed me a tweet that Fox News put out. Here's a tweet I'll show you from Fox News, which just came out. I should check my Twitter, by the way, in a second for late news. Maybe people are making comments on this and like politicians and stuff. Fox just tweeted this out 12 minutes ago. They said it's a tweet of Bernie Sanders saying, oh, his Twitter. Let's go to Bernie Sanders on Twitter. Let's hear it from the person himself. Bernie Sanders 20 minutes ago posts, if Trump ends DACA, Congress must act immediately to restore it. That's what Bernie Sanders says. Let's see what else I can find on Twitter about this. All right, I have to know. By now, CNN and MSNBC must be covering this, right? No, they're still not. Let's see. Let's see. CNN isn't. This is unbelievable. I gotta see what CNN is showing. The 90s, a documentary. I'm gonna tweet about that in a second. I can't stop myself from doing this. Let's see. Now, I'm just looking over here. I'm seeing some tweets. So Jim Acosta, who I know a number of you do not like, says, Trump is expected to end DACA program for Dreamers with 6-month delay. CNN has confirmed, but officials caution decision still on Tuesday. There's some other posts here. So Maggie Haberman says, this is not how Politico story is being read, but she thinks the reality is that this is a signal the president does not want to actually end DACA, and it's not clear what will be different in 6 months that will make him end it. Doesn't mean he says, I'll keep it. Also doesn't mean that he ends it. So she seems to think maybe there's a chance in 6 months he wouldn't end it, even if he announced he was going to end it. MSNBC is actually live right now, but not covering the story. Just seeing if anyone else posted about this. That's all I'm seeing right now, but I'll keep you updated. If you have thoughts on this story, give me a shout on Twitter, at Lookner, at Lookner. We'll stay on a little while longer covering this, hearing what you have to say, that President Trump is reportedly going to announce on Tuesday that he's ending DACA, but he's going to give Congress 6 months to pass a DACA bill if they'd like. Jeffrey Williams says, we appreciate you, Steve, and your entire crew. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Jeffrey. Andrew Sova says, I thought Margaret Howell said she would have a new show on Right Side Broadcasting, but she had no name for it yet. Yeah, we still are planning to having a show with Margaret. I guess we're kind of waiting for Margaret to... She's been doing some traveling lately, so as far as I'm aware, that's still in the works, and it's just as soon as that all gets organized and as soon as it gets organized and we start shooting it, then we'll start showing it to you. So as far as I'm aware, plans are still underway for that to happen. I'll ask her at the next rally so I can give you updated information. I'm looking at your comments right now. Jeff Berry says 6-month delay on DACA rollback would put pressure on Congress to take voters seriously on issues that matter to them before 2018. Joe Low Dib says, Stephanie is right on the money. Someone is finally making Congress do their job. Put the ball in their court. Sean Quigley says, we're a nation of laws. Peggy Suchef says, ending DACA for schools at least will mean no young Spanish speakers in public education and deportation for less than 16 and younger. Prepare for much crying. Now, at the same time, I guess, yeah, because if somebody was 1 year old and they came here in 2007, they would be 11 now. So... and they could still be here under DACA. So, in theory, ending DACA would make them illegal and they would have to leave. Central Florida for Trump says Trump would have to fight Governor Abbott with Jeff Sessions to defend DACA in court for the benefit of Chuck Schumer. I'm a little... you're talking about something happening in court. I'm a little confused onto what... If Trump ends DACA, like some people were saying on Twitter, like some reporters, like could like state attorney generals sue President Trump over that? I'm a little confused. They would sue him because they would say like you can't end DACA. That's illegal to end DACA. Maybe they'd argue that like. The people who came here under DACA, you're like violating their due process rights or something. Like they have some kind of constitutional right, even though they're not American citizens. Maybe they can make an argument like that. I'm not sure. Let's see. All right. We're going to stay on a few more minutes here. Ronnie writes in. Ronnie, I'm not going to read your whole message because it's a bit long. I'll try to read it later. But for getting on the air, I want to just kind of get through a lot of messages. So let's see. You say you've worked with illegal immigrants a lot. I feel for President Trump and the people using Daca, but really we all know it has to go. It is tempting people to bring their children into the U.S. to get low cost or free education with the added bonus of eventually getting permanent residence in the U.S. Now, thank you, Ronnie. And let me say this. Oh, and he also says, this is from Ed Briley. Okay, from Ed. You also say, Ed, Congress is not going to touch this, and no matter which way that President Trump addresses this, Congress will do their best to do just the opposite. Congress has to make a decision no matter what. The best they could do is support President Trump, get rid of the ACA, replace it if need be, build the wall, and do the tax cuts. If they would do what he has promised, like most in Congress and the president will be able to address immigration. Until wages increase and millions of jobs are created, illegal immigration, refugee programs will be a problem for all politicians. Thank you, Ed, for writing in. One quick point, though, as we found out earlier in the broadcast when we studied the Wikipedia page on Daca, if that page is correct, Daca only applies to people who came here as young people before 2007. President Obama tried to expand it to more people. A district court issued an injunction stopping that expansion, and the Supreme Court had a 4-4 deadlock on it, so the injunction stood. So as of right now, DACA does not apply to young people who are coming here now. It only applies to young people who came here 2007 or before. Bill DeWall writes, within the 6-month period, I expect to see a replacement program pushed in our face. They will not let this go. During the next 6 months, how many babies will be born to these current DACA people and be U.S. citizens? Oh, so you're saying there are DACA people in the country, like there's close to 1 million of them, and if they have children on our soil, those children are automatically citizens, you're saying. By the way, this is Right Side Broadcasting. We're covering the story that President Trump is reportedly going to announce an end to DACA Tuesday with a 6-month delay for Congress to pass a DACA law if they want. We are viewer supported, by the way, so if you enjoy our coverage, if you enjoy that we're covering this tonight while CNN is like showing the 90s and Fox is showing a rerun, give us, if you like that we're covering this, we hope you give consideration to making a donation to us because we're viewer supported. Your donations are what allow us to stay on the air. So if you'd like to donate, you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Even small donations are welcome. They all help. Or you can go to the YouTube chat and just click on the $sign at the bottom of the chat room. It's right next to the broadcast. There's a little $sign there. And thank you again to the moderators for moderating the chat tonight, the chats. We very much appreciate it. Let's see here. Kathy Cloud writes in, more ammo for taking out the rhinos in 2018 who keep lying to us. Let's primary the whole group of them. Ronald says Governor Dayton wants to give illegals driver's licenses so they would be safer drivers. He said, "LOL, stupid Governor Dayton. Then they can vote." Jeff Berry says messages are not showing in YouTube chat. Is that an issue people are having where their messages are not showing up? If so, let me know. Maybe the moderators, I'm sure, will let me know if that's happening. Central Florida for Trump says starting September 5th, 10 states, including Texas, are suing the federal government, claiming DACA unconstitutional. I didn't know this, Central Florida for Trump. Trump would have to defend Obama executive order. I wasn't aware of this. Is that happening? Let's see. I don't know if I'll be able to find this out now. Oh, let's see. Tennessee announced that it's leaving an alliance of 10 states that is threatening to sue the federal government over the DACA program. So they're threatening to do it. There's 9 states still left: Alabama, Arkansas, Idaho, Kansas, Louisiana, Nebraska, South Carolina, Texas, and West Virginia. Let's see here. Michael says YouTube black screen might be a reaction to your groundbreaking commentary on live Harvey rescue footage. Too raw to handle. At Lookner at RSB Network. Andy T says you are one of the few, even though YouTube seems to have an issue with conservatives, is grateful for the service. See positives. You mean grateful for YouTube? Yeah, as I said, they've done a lot of really good stuff for us. Darth Kafefe says, while many people might be mad at the Daca decision, is what he ran his campaign on and what people voted for. Are we black again? I guess we went black again. Rocky says, YouTube black screen again. Steve, don't ask for YouTube Super Chat anymore. They take 60% profit anyway. They do not. We get 70% of the YouTube donations, as we've said frequently on the channel. Promote PayPal and said, we promote both. Some people like donating on PayPal. Some people like doing that at rsbn.donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Some people like it on the YouTube chat, so we're fine with all the donations. Sam Miller says Daca affects Google and Apple the most. Hint, hint. So I guess we had another black screen a few minutes ago. I'm sorry, folks. As soon as I get off the air, we're going to email YouTube again about this issue. Again, it's been happening for several days. If a black screen comes on, hopefully by now you know we're going to come right back. It's not us. These black screens have been coming on for 30 seconds at a time, so we apologize about that. Okay, I think I'm going to take a couple more messages and then wrap up the stream. We will be covering this more on Tuesday, obviously. Deplorable Kathy says, off the subject a little, are you going to go live for Irma if it gets close? Yeah, sure. If it comes to the U.S., we hope it doesn't, but if it does, we will definitely cover it live. And even if it comes to the Caribbean, we'll try to do live coverage if we can get material to have on our broadcast. Randy J. Walker says, view on Daca. If I robbed a bank and they got me 10 years later, should I get a pass like illegals? Of course not. It's illegal. Okay. I think right now I'm going to wrap up the stream. But I appreciate everybody writing in. It's going to be a busy week, I think. So we're going to be busy covering a lot of stuff. But I'm glad we got to come on the air and cover this story. And we'll see. Maybe we'll hear something tomorrow about this story from the White House or something. And the announcement still hasn't been made yet. So this could change before Tuesday. But right now, Politico is saying President Trump will end DACA program on Tuesday, but give Congress a 6-month window to pass a DACA law. Keeping DACA. Anyways, what was I going to say? So we appreciate all of you watching tonight. I very much appreciate all of your comments that you sent in and participating in the broadcast. Thank you so much to the moderators in the chat room for moderating the chat, as usual. The chats, as usual. Thank you for everybody who donated. And speaking of which, Trump Sword just gave $2 and said DACA is unconstitutional. Thank you for the donation, Trump Sword. Thank you to everybody who donated. Your donations keep us on the air. We couldn't do this coverage without you. So if you like Right Side Broadcasting's coverage, please consider donating. You can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Also, don't forget, subscribe to us on YouTube so you get notified when we come on the air with videos like this. And follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. You can follow me on Twitter at Lookner. I'll be posting breaking news. Basically, as long as I'm awake, I'm posting breaking news stuff. So at Lookner on Twitter. And on Facebook, we're at Right Side Broadcasting, so you can follow us there. Big Tom gave $2 and said, delete Facebook. Thank you, Tom. Well, we have a lot of viewers who actually watch us on Facebook, so we like being on multiple platforms, giving people a choice. Hello to all the Facebook viewers right now. And thanks for everybody who's who joined us tonight. And I see people in the chat, they're saying thank you to moderators like Guinevere and JC were there. Ron, Jude was there. Thank you, Cass, Randall. Let's see, XT. Everybody else in there. A bunch of people are saying thank you. So, and all the other people in there. If I don't keep myself, I'll end up staying on for an hour saying goodbye to everybody, which is great to do. But then it's like it's an hour every time. So, but thank you for now. Thank you. And Hurd says hi, and Jimmy Jams. And so we'll be covering, it's a holiday tomorrow, so I don't know if there'll be a press briefing tomorrow, but we'll be covering all the press briefings this week, any kind of big news that happens, stuff with Congress. If the hurricane starts developing more and coming close, we'll cover that. So lots to cover this week. And thank you, Jan, for being in the chat room and moderating as well. And thanks, Outlaw. Okay. And Miss Rob. Oh, and Christine made a donation. Christine Bestchen gave $2 and said, thank you all. Thank you, Christine. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up now. Thank you for joining us for this breaking news coverage of the report that President Trump will end the Daca policy on Tuesday, but give a 6-month window to Congress to pass a Daca law if they want. We'll be on the story. We'll keep covering it. Now everybody's saying goodbye. Voice of Reason, Goober Fries, Jan, everybody else in there. Thank you. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a great night. Have a great day tomorrow. I'm so out of it. We've been so busy. Isn't tomorrow Labor Day? Isn't it Labor Day tomorrow? Yes, it is. So have a great Labor Day, whatever you're doing. And we will see you. If there's breaking news tonight, we'll come back on the air. But we always come on the air for breaking news. So be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. But have a great night. Have a great Labor Day. And we'll see you soon. This is Steve Lookner from Right Side Broadcasting saying thanks for joining us. And have a great rest of your weekend.